With that being said though, a couple of things that helped me through this agonizing pain. The aftershock! Hey guys, I'm the Therapy Gamer. As you guys probably noticed the clip here where where you guys just saw me walk off to the bathroom. I ended up spending 13 hours in the bathroom sleeping on the floor.
It's 18 hours later, by the way.
18 hours later now. 13 of them I spent in excruciating pain on the floor of the bathroom to where at about the 12-hour mark I finally threw up a ton of the pepper that had stayed in my stomach all night. It was, oh my gosh, I've never felt that amount of pain in my life. So we decided to sit down here and tell you guys a little bit about the 24-hour after effects or
I'm still feeling and my rear end is still warm.
Yeah. Well, and he had the ground up one.
Yeah, that was alright.
We had the full peppers.
They threw up
which left us incapacitated.
Yeah, horribly so.
I knocked on my parents' door at about 5 this morning as the sun was coming up, crouching down on my toes, and knocked on the door and said, "Dad, is there anything that would take away this pain?" And he said, "You gotta the only way to do it is throw it up." I don't want to do that. But
and that's probably why he brought me some lemon and vinegar this morning too. And I downed the whole thing, and it didn't bring it back up for me.
No. So. Well, I did a more middle school method.
Oh. See, and I wasn't able to make myself throw up at all. It just gradually worked itself up to it, and I could feel my throat coating itself, getting prepped by that 11th hour type of thing, and any movement in my core, just shifting it around, I couldn't even lay down flat. I was literally doing sort of a weird plank, laying on my arms, keeping my torso nice and flat with my legs the entire night, just to make sure that nothing in my stomach shifted, because
every time it shifted, if you move anything at all, it
reactivated it. It was so stupid. Oh.
I figured that out whenever I would try to toss and turn. I'm like, oh, maybe it'd feel better on my right side. Oh no, it burns. And maybe on the left side, maybe on my back. No, it burns even worse.
Yeah.
And then I eventually rolled out of bed and slept on the floor for a little while. Then I crawled out to the bathroom, and Corey was in there. So I went over to the bathroom in our addition, and I was like, all right, this might work. And then I walked, hunched up back over to the house, grabbed my blanket, and 2 blankets and a pillow. And I set that right on the tile floor right by the sink, and did that for a couple hours until I finally threw up.
Yeah.
My night wasn't as bad as theirs. I had the fiery gut, but I never threw up.
Well, and he slept like a baby on the couch while we were writhing in pain with the whole pepper bouncing around in our stomachs too.
Yeah.
That was so mean.
I was not spared, because it sure felt like I had some sort of sexual transmitted disease when I went to go urinate today.
Yeah, that was one of the weird side effects that we felt that it felt like our kidneys were dehydrating as our kidneys were working super hard to recover from or pump the stuff out of our system that wasn't ever leaving our stomach to begin with.
So the question begs to be asked: would we do it again?
I would for an Audi.
For a very.
I went for a plane. I didn't eat the whole pepper. I didn't eat the pepper in its singularity entirety. So singular entirety. I put it with pizza, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I'm sure grounded, it would be a lot more manageable for your stomach. But I would never do this again. That was it. Felt like all of the stories that I hear pregnancies feels like. And at that 13th hour where I finally was able to vomit and throw this stuff up was the most inconceivable amount of pain that I have ever felt in my life.
Because the burn, it wasn't in pretty much in the same state as it when it came down.
It was like on top of the stomach acid that was coming up, it was the same hotness of the pepper. None of it broke down in my stomach, and I'm usually pretty good with managing hot stuff. Like, it was worse than any of the pain that I ever had with my eye. And so and going through all the different surgeries, removal processes, whatever, like, that was just cakewalk compared to this pepper. So
yeah, it's the worst I've ever felt. Like it was a mix between the stomach flu and a stomach ache. It felt like you were being stabbed whenever the acid sloshed around, but then you were also nauseous because your gallbladder and other organs were trying to figure out how to break it down.
Yeah, and nothing functions. It's like, well, on top
Trent
of that,
said he wanted to die.
Yeah, I actually did want to die. I would just sat there on the toilet pulling my hair, going,
it's like, there's no out to it. So, with that being said though, a couple of things that helped me through this agonizing pain.
Frozen bananas.
Frozen bananas was a good one to down with it, but during the process of like sitting on the toilet for 13 hours almost with that, you can't allow yourself to reprocess back through everything that you ate or the pepper or anything like that, because psychologically that just messes with you and it causes all sorts of like things to fire back. So a couple of the other things that we found that helped for me was I used an ice pack, as it felt like my entire chest and torso was on fire constantly, and every time I'd shift it would reactivate. I'd have to put the ice pack on my chest first, and then mid-core, low-core to even all that out, so that it would be able to reorganize and calm itself back down.
That's honest. It's the same attitude that you take whenever you go out to drink and party for a night.
Yeah,
It's fun for a little bit, and then you suffer for the rest of the night. And
Yeah.
It's like, why are we doing this?
It makes
again?
absolutely no sense to me why people would put their body through this amount of agonizing pain with other poisons or toxic stuff. Like, I guarantee that this is relatable to a near-death level of alcohol poisoning.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Kind of like your mom said, I've gone through childbirth, I don't have to go through stupid.
Yeah, well,
That was perfect.
yeah.
Hey, we don't have to go through childbirth, so we have to figure something to supplement.
Well, we've
I
all
think I
done
can
bad
empathize
things.
with my wife now, because I was just
That may be a good thing to come out of it. It's like,
Yeah.
when I saw him on his knees, well, he was up on his feet. I actually said, why are you up on your toes? But, yeah, that may be a good thing out of it, is because it basically gives you probably a gallbladder flush the way you were.
Ooh.
Waves of nausea and
Oh,
diarrhea
yeah.
and all that. So that is a lot like morning sickness.
That's just morning sickness?
And the way that
Well,
stuff came out this morning
severe
felt like
morning
the birth.
Severe. That could be sick. I don't know. I'm not gonna trust
Yeah,
it
actually,
to
I
find
would-
out.
I'd
Yeah.
relate to that, because whenever it came back up, you still had the pain, but then you also had the uncomfortable.
The way that my core was dancing around, any like shift would reactivate the heat. With like flexing and trying to
It's
go to
like
the bathroom.
when you're in true labor, getting up and walking around will intensify it. So I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're in real labor, is you get up and you walk around. Oh.
And
yeah.
things start dropping.
Mhm.
This is, and I wish I would have like brought the GoPro with me for some of the what I went through last night, but I disappeared so fast that it just there was no.
No reason.
Yep. It just happened.
Just remember, kids, we had trained medical professionals, so don't do this at home. You're likely to hospitalize yourself.
Yeah, like I was begging myself to almost want to go get my stomach pumped this morning because I was so much in pain with everything. If I wasn't so far out in the middle of nowhere, it probably would have been like my first go-to with it. But I suffered in silence for hours and hours with this. it was just amazingly painful.
That was one difference between the two of us. He suffered in silence because he was over here at the house, but our addition has renters who live up above, and they probably just heard me moaning most of the night. I was kind of angry with myself. I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah, like there is no direct positive outcome that came from this outside of being able to relate to an immense amount of pain now. And the only relief was to literally vomit it back up.
Oh.
So never, ever, ever try to eat one of these peppers whole.
Yeah,
There's nowhere for it to go.
you're more likely to hospitalize yourself, so don't do it.
Yeah, it felt like I had a little Mario fireball burning all the way through my intestinal tract, back and forth all night.
So kids, just because people dare you to do something, don't do it.
Yeah, and just because it's on YouTube and you think it'd be a fun little challenge to do, don't.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds about good. So if you guys enjoyed what you saw, us going through the immense amount of pain and agony that we did, please support us getting better down below by leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. All your support.
Make us feel it was a little bit worth it.
Yeah, show us that it was worth it.
Show us some love.
Share the video to anybody that you might know that have wanted to try this or anything along those lines. But yeah, you guys have a fantastic day. It's always a pleasure to see you, and we'll see you again tomorrow in the next video. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Adios.
Live long and prosper. No crude jokes, okay? This is an emergency.